A letter written in innocence incited a storm of emotions in a divided town, awakening old rivalries with its words. Yet amidst the chaos, a soft echo of reason lingered. Could a child's perspective unravel years of discord? What might happen if they chose to meet halfway? In the heart of Middle America, the small town of Maplewood sat draped in the warm embrace of a golden autumn sun, casting a soft glow on the rows of houses that lined its streets. Here, political signs stood beside carefully tended gardens, their vivid colors standing out like vibrant shards of glass against a backdrop of deep greens and browns. The air was thick with a palpable tension, a mixture of optimism and conflict, where friendly waves between neighbors masked the deeper divisions lurking just beneath the surface. Amid the chaos of differing beliefs lived Evan, an 8-year-old with bright blue eyes that sparkled with innocence and curiosity. With tousled hair and a notebook always gripped fiercely in his hands, he dreamed of a world filled with kindness and cooperation. Though overshadowed by the turbulent political climate around him, Evan's unwavering optimism ignited hope. He adored his teacher, Mrs. Thompson, whose soft smile and warm encouragement nurtured his ideas and dreams. With every word she uttered, she painted a picture where dreams could shape reality. Next door lived Mr. Jenkins, a staunch conservative whose thick-set eyebrows furrowed with worry. He loved his country fiercely, but felt overwhelmed by the relentless disagreements that plagued the community. Meanwhile, Ms. Ramirez, an outspoken business owner, represented a more progressive perspective, her fiery spirit urging the town to embrace empathy and understanding. Unbeknownst to Evan, his innocent hope would soon challenge the silent barriers within Maplewood, setting the stage for transformation. In the heart of Maplewood, where the air carried the scent of blooming cherry blossoms, a palpable tension lingered. The sun dipped low, casting golden rays on the houses adorned with competing political signs. Each side battled for dominance in this quaint community. It wasn't just a place of picturesque charm. It held unspoken rifts that ran deep among its neighbors. Spry children like Evan played in the streets, their laughter echoing under the boughs of the ancient oak tree that stood as a silent witness to the discord. Eagerly clutching his pencil, Evan sat cross-legged in Mrs. Thompson's classroom, animatedly discussing a school project that encouraged students to pen letters to influential figures. His bright eyes sparkled with inspiration. Meanwhile, his neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, stood outside the classroom, arms crossed and brow furrowed, casting discontented glances that spoke volumes about his skepticism toward anything deemed liberal or accommodating. "Why write to him? It won't change a thing," he muttered under his breath, catching the attention of Ms. Ramirez, who briskly prepared afternoon snacks for the students. She rolled her eyes. "What's wrong with a little hope?" Evan's heart raced as he scrawled a letter to former President Trump, imploring him to inspire unity. His innocence radiated like the afternoon sun. Yet as he sealed the envelope, the air surrounding him whispered warnings of the divisions that would soon surface. Unbeknownst to him, a transformative spark was about to ignite a community spirit. As Evan's letter gained traction across social media, a cacophony of responses reverberated through the town. The once quiet streets filled with whispers, hesitant chatter, and outright arguments. Supporters rallied behind the bright-eyed boy, advocating for a return to empathy and dialogue. They saw a glimmer of hope in his innocence, a reminder of their shared humanity. On the other side, the skeptics voiced their disdain vehemently, witnessed as families turned against each other, comfortably hiding behind screens and political slogans. Mrs. Thompson, fiercely protective of her student, clutched Evan's letter during her class, her voice steady but passionate. "Evan believes in the power of words. Words can heal, they can unite. We owe it to him and to each other to listen." She faced off against a skeptical parent, Mr. Jenkins, whose furrowed brow betrayed his frustration. "You might see this as hopeful, Mrs. Thompson," he snapped, "but this naivete risks undermining everything we stand for. This divide isn't going to be erased by a child's innocent whimsy." His eyes flashed with stubbornness, the heart of his convictions evident. Across the gathering, Ms. Ramirez interjected, firm and composed. "And yet, isn't that the beauty of his message? If we could also find the courage to engage one another, to have conversations we've been avoiding, Perhaps we can bridge this chasm. He's reminding us that kindness is our strongest weapon. Emotions boiled over, spurred by the clashes of ideologies. Tension thickened as accusations and defenses flew about like cannon fire, sparking fervent debates. Neighbors who had once shared meals now stood at odds. Evan, quietly watching the chaos unfold, felt a pang of anxiety ripple through his gut. Had his innocent plea only fanned the flames? Would they ever find common ground again? The town hall echoed with tension, the air thick with anticipation and lingering resentment. Evan's innocence felt dwarfed by the clamoring voices of the adults. It was as if he had tossed a pebble into a lake, and the ripples had turned into waves crashing against one another. Mrs. Thompson stood near the front, her brows furrowed in worry as she clutched Evan's letter in her hands. "Please, everyone, we can find common ground," she pleaded, her words drowned by the rising cacophony. "Common ground?" Mr. Jenkins barked back, his voice dripping with skepticism. "You really think this kid's letter will change anything? We've had years of division. It's naive." He punctuated his disdain with a dismissive hand gesture, prompting murmurs of agreement from some seated at the rear, faces clouded with doubt. But Ms. Ramirez was not standing down. "What does it say about us if we can't even entertain the idea of kindness? This town needs to reflect on its values, not fight harder to preserve old grudges." Her passionate appeal ignited a fire within several audience members, who shifted in their seats, drawn into the moment. As the arguments escalated, Evan felt a sharp pang in his chest. He stepped to the front, his small frame swallowed by the expansive space of discontent. "Stop! Please, listen!" His voice quivered as it broke through the noise. "I just wanted people to be nice to each other." "Kids don't understand the real world," came a voice from the back, cold and mocking. "Then they should try," Evan responded, his spirit ignited, words spilling out with fervor. "Because if I can dream of a better America, so can you." As another heated exchange erupted, everyone paused, glancing at the door, where a woman entered, clutching an envelope emblazoned with an unmistakable insignia. The room fell silent, breath held in shared curiosity. The letter was from Trump. What did it say? Would it heal the divide or deepen the scars? Evan's heart raced as he took a quick glance around the crowded town hall, where voices clashed like thunder, echoing his internal turmoil. "This was supposed to help," he whispered to himself, watching Mr. Jenkins and Ms. Ramirez exchange heated words. "Your boy doesn't understand the reality we live in," Mr. Jenkins barked, his face flushed, the conservative signs outside seemingly reflected in his angry demeanor. "And your rigidity is what keeps this town divided, Jenkins," Ms. Ramirez shot back, her voice firm but carrying a tremor of fear. "Evan is expressing hope." In that moment, a flicker of desperation ignited in Evan. He felt compelled to step into the storm. "Everyone," he called, his small voice barely rising above the shouting. "Please, can I say something?" The room fell uncomfortably silent, all eyes on the little boy. Hesitating for just a moment, Evan pushed through the emotions clashing within him, remembering the warmth of Trump's letter. "I wrote my letter because I believe we can be better. I believe we can help each other. If we can talk, then we can understand. I just want everyone to be happy together." Even as feelings of doubt clawed at him, he saw their expressions shift. The walls of anger didn't crumble, but there was a softening, a glimmer of reflection. Then, unexpectedly, a hush fell as someone unfolded a message. Trump's response. As it was read aloud, echoing through the hall, the tension transformed into something deeper: contemplation. Trump spoke of unity, emphasizing the strength in community spirit and reminding everyone of their shared humanity. Evan watched as faces changed. It was not complete resolution, but it was something significant, an opening. This moment marked the first step of many toward connection. "We can find a way," he thought, his heart swelling with hope. It was a turning point into the dawn of possibility. As the sun dipped below the horizon, illuminating the town in warm shades of orange and gold, the residents gathered for Unity Day, their laughter mingling with the aroma of shared meals. Evan, now brimming with confidence, stood before his neighbors, the shy boy transformed into a symbol of hope. Today is about listening, he said earnestly, his small voice carrying the weight of courage. Mr. Jenkins and Ms. Ramirez were side by side, engaged in heartfelt conversation, each sharing perspectives they once dismissed. The tension that had once divided them melted away, replaced by a shared understanding and a resolve to work together. Throughout the day, stories filled the air, emotions spilled freely, and long-held grievances were addressed, replaced with promises of kindness. As night fell and candles flickered, the once divided town glowed with renewed purpose. Evan's simple letter had reignited empathy, proving that even amidst disagreement, a united community was possible. The message was clear. Positive change begins with small gestures, and genuine dialogue can bridge any divide.